These are the best whiskeys of 2025 so far. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Bourbon Hutch, and thanks so much for joining me on this journey through the world of whiskey. So today we've got an exciting list, the best whiskeys of 2025 so far. It's been an interesting year in the world of bourbon and whiskey. We may be coming out of a real period of scarcity, tons of hunting, and everything seemed to be allocated over the last few years. And now it's maybe starting to get a little bit better, a little bit more available. Prices are normalizing slightly. Still got a long way to go, but I think things are kind of interesting right now in the world of whiskey. So in 2025 so far, these are the bottles that I feel like have stood out to me the most. The big caveat is these are only bottles that I've been able to get my hands on. So this is not going to include some unicorn bottles. It certainly won't be the most comprehensive list, but from my perspective, what I've been able to buy this year and taste, these are the best bottles. They are a mix of much more available and affordable, all the way up to highly allocated and more expensive. So without further ado, let's dive into the list. Start out with a little bit more of the available side. The first bottle that stands out to me is Four Roses single barrel. This is the OESO barrel. For me, these bottles, there's 3 new recipes this year that you can get at this 100 proof range, and they're all very good for around $50. This one in particular stands out. The OESO is the sweetest and to me just the most crowd pleasing. I have not been disappointed by sipping this one yet, and I've shared it with a few people who really like it. So for around $50, really good bottle. They're going to do all 10 recipes eventually, which is going to be fun to kind of compare and contrast all of them. But I do think the OESO is the standout from this year so far. All right, sticking with slightly more available or becoming more available, this one's actually kind of a sneaky contender for my real whiskey of the year bracket at the end of the year. That is Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Heritage Release. This is their toasted barrel. And by golly, for $70, this thing is delicious, full of caramelized banana, s'mores notes like chocolate and marshmallow. Just a really well done toasted bourbon. Maybe the best toasted I've ever had, actually. And so for something this affordable and supposedly going to be more and more available, show up on more and more shelves. I've been seeing more posts about it lately. So this one's eventually going to be a shelfer, and it's delicious stuff. Really, really good. Strong showing from Jack Daniel's this year so far. Okay, so the next one, gonna be maybe a little bit controversial, or the whole series is a little bit controversial right now, but this bottle is very, very good, and that is Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch B525. So A125, I see that sitting on shelves all over the place near me. Young, people don't really like it. People are upset with Elijah Craig for going so young and being sort of willing to abandon their stronghold on that 12-year-old mark and really delivering great whiskey year after year. Now it just fluctuates so much whether or not you're going to get a good bottle. This bottle, though, is very, very good. It is 11 years, 6 months old, so not that far off from the 12-year age statement that we lost, and 126.2 proof. It's just very good whiskey, holds up to that standard. The C925 I have not gotten yet, but is the youngest release ever, and I know people are pretty disappointed in that. So this is the standout from Elijah Craig this year. It's the only one I think that really lives up to the previous standard we had in our minds of this whole Elijah Craig barrel proof line. All right, I had to make some room for the rest of our bottles here. The next one's pretty interesting. It's a more limited release. It's a well-aged rye whiskey from a distillery that didn't really make that known. So let's talk about it. Old Forester's 117 series bottled in bond rye. This thing is 11 years old, or at almost 11 years old, 100 proof, and freaking delicious. Super, super good stuff. These smaller 375 milliliters are a little bit expensive. This one's around $65, so that gets you into that territory of paying 130-ish bucks for a full, 750 milliliter bottle. But this rye at almost 11 years old is delicious. I don't know why people weren't touting it more and talking about it. I don't know why Old Forester didn't market the crap out of the fact that this thing is this old. Kind of just snuck under the radar, and trust me, if you see this one, it's well worth it. Okay, let's move on to a brand that has had a pretty good year, but I think is flying still a little bit under the radar. So the first bottle from them is Maker's Mark. This is the Keeper's Release. This came out in 2025, obviously, early in the year, I think like February, March era, and I think this thing is awesome. It grew on me way faster, and I enjoyed it a lot more than the Heart Release from last year. This thing is just sweetness in a glass. So much brown sugar. They say on here that it's got bold oak toasted sweetness. I'd agree with the toasted sweetness for sure. For $70, or I've seen it discounted now, sitting on shelves still for like $60 to $65. This is a really good one. I don't know why people haven't been buying it more. I feel like the limited series from Maker's Mark, the wood finishing series, used to fly off the shelves. Then we saw the Heart Release sort of stick around. Now the Keeper's Release is really just stacking on shelves around me, but it's actually very, very good. That might be sitting on shelves because they have this new king of the hill, really. And so the next bottle on my list is Maker's Mark Cellar Aged 2025. This stuff is delicious. The whole series is really good. This one did give a little bit of a run for its money. My favorite's probably the 2023 still, but in the blind, this came in second from all three of them. It's delicious stuff at a mix of 11, 12, or 11, 13, and 14-year-old whiskeys. Some of the oldest stuff we've ever gotten from Maker's Mark. Full of like cherry, chocolate, fudgy notes in there as well. It's just delicious. It is expensive at, I think it's 175 or 180 bucks. You may see it even marked up. I just saw one the other day for 300 plus at a store. I already have my bottle, which is great, but I do think it's one of the best releases of the year so far, and they continue to do really well with this Cellar Age series. All right, I got two more bottles for you. The next one comes from probably my favorite distillery when it comes to rye whiskey, and this one just hits the spot, and that is Michter's Barrel Strength Rye. I mean, I love their 10-year rye. I think the 10-year rye is a little bit more well-rounded and refined, but if you're talking about give me the full sweetness and full flavor punch, the Barrel Strength Rye is where it's at. This is like a sugar cookie bomb. Like, it just has so much sweetness on it for a rye, and it's truly delicious. And for around, I think it's like 110-ish, these usually sit in that range. It's very, very good and well worth it. All right, before I reveal my last bottle, which probably is my front runner for Whiskey of the Year right now, do want to say, if you're enjoying all the content coming out of the channel, if you even enjoyed 1 second of this video, the rules are you gotta subscribe. I don't make the rules, I just tell you guys the rules. And the rules are you gotta subscribe if you've enjoyed any video from the Bourbon Hutch, or if you've been finding this video enjoyable at all. Okay, I actually do make the rules. That's a rule I made up, but still, would appreciate it. We are trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. Probably lagging behind that goal a little too much, but I'd love to get to 4,000 at least. So if you haven't already, join the club. While you're at it, hit the like button on this video. That's what gets it out to the most people. And then let me know in the comments below, what are your favorite whiskeys of the year so far in 2025? What am I missing? Is there anything I could actually go out and hunt or find pretty easily that I should add to my list? All right, last bottle here. My front runner for Whiskey of the Year right now. Another smaller bottle, but packs quite a punch, and that is Bardstown Bourbon Company's Cathedral French Oak Finish. This thing's phenomenal. It is super well aged. Bourbons, everything from 9 to 18 years old, and then finished for 14 months in French oak barrels that were made of the same wood that was used to restore Notre Dame Cathedral. That's pretty cool. It's a cool story. The good thing is the bourbon itself lives up to the hype and is just probably the best toasted sweetness profile I've ever had. French oak can be a tricky thing to play with, and they just nailed the blend here. So it's delicious. That's gonna be my list, everybody. I think this is 8 bottles, 8 bourbons, 8 whiskeys that I consider the best of 2025 so far. A mix of affordable and available, all the way up to very hard to find. Again, let me know in the comments below, now that you've seen the full list, what do you think, and what am I missing, or what should I still hunt here in 2025? If you're still hunting one of these bottles or looking for that true whiskey of the year candidate, wish you luck. And until I see you guys again for another video, all I can say is keep drinking good whiskey and cheers.